am extremely bullish on El Salvador. That's why I'm here. The people that are coming here to El Salvador right now are top notch. You have so many different projects that are really trying to make a good impact here. We really are building the El Salvador that we want to live in. We'll see a different El Salvador in 10, 15, 20 years than from what we see now. It was dangerous to go out into the streets, try to be home before dark, not to take the buses, not to wear jewelry, not to wear nice clothes, not to wear shoes. Bukele always had a good track record of cleaning up the places that he was in charge of. If this place is like Bukele claims it to be, the safest place in the world, I'm gonna put it to the test.
Herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Episode. Ich befinde mich jetzt auf dem Weg hier in der Zonte zum sogenannten Bitcoin Hardware Store, wo ich ein kleines Interview halten werde mit dem Co-Founder und CEO Ronny. Ebenso ist er auch der Co-Founder von Zonte-Rentals.com. Für jeden, der mal plant, in Zukunft hierher zu kommen nach El Zonte, den kann ich eigentlich nur empfehlen, den Bitcoin Hardware Store sich anzuschauen. Mit Sicherheit für jeden Bitcoiner ein kleines Paradies. Und den Ronny, den Inhaber, den kenne ich jetzt auch schon seit ein paar Wochen, denn ich war schon mehrmals in diesem Store gewesen, habe mir auch dort vor Ort im Store eine sogenannte Bitachse geholt. Und ja, im Store gibt es viele verschiedene Gadgets, Nerdminer, es gibt Bitcoin-Bücher, Merch-Artikel, T-Shirts, Sticker etc. etc. Der Shop, der ist an sich eigentlich gar nicht groß, sondern eher sehr klein, aber nichtsdestotrotz finde ich es ein cooler Platz, wo man eben halt die Möglichkeit hat, sich ein paar Bitcoin-bezogene Gadgets, Artikel zu kaufen, zu erwerben, wenn man das möchte. Dann sind wir jetzt auch schon hier beim Bitcoin Hardware Store. Also es ist wie gesagt ein sehr, sehr kleiner Store. Und wenn wir jetzt diese Straße noch ein bisschen weiter entlang gehen und dann jetzt hier vorne rechts abbiegen, dann kommen wir automatisch zum Strand. Und auf dieser Straße haben wir dann gleich auch circa nach 200 bis 300 Metern ein paar Souvenirshops, Surfshops, wo man sich Surfbretter ausleihen kann, weitere Hostels, Restaurants etc. etc. I am here with Ronny, the co-founder and CEO of the Bitcoin Hardware Store. Let's start with the interview. We'll come to the first question. Wer bist du und was machst du?
So my name is Ronny Avendano. I am 36 years old from Salvadoran parents who left El Salvador during the war, the civil war back that started in the 70s, went all throughout the 80s. So my family moved to Canada. And that's where I was born. So I spent all of my childhood in Canada. Went to school there and would come here to El Salvador frequently when I was a kid, and then less frequently as I got older, because it was, after the war, it got dangerous for another reason, which was all the gangs and all the danger. But Salvadoran Canadian, and now I've been living here in El Salvador it'll be 4 years in a couple of months. So time flies, and started the Bitcoin hardware store about 6 months ago. So managing this with a partner of mine and just going along with the flow, learning about Bitcoin, learning about how it can work in a small community, but hoping that it's an example for the rest of the world.
Just before we started the interview, we talked a little bit about our own Bitcoin journey, but I think it doesn't matter when you are going to start. The most important, I would say, is that you're going to start to learn about Bitcoin, that you study it, and I think, as we Bitcoiners say, I think it's never too late to study and to learn Bitcoin. So then we will come to the second question, and this question is of course about your store, and I think you have also another store and some other location, but right now you will tell us, was ist die Idee bzw. die Vision vom Bitcoin Hardware Store?
Cool. So the idea and the vision actually started, like we mentioned earlier, my journey through Bitcoin started in 2021 when Bukele made Bitcoin legal tender. And at that point, I decided that I needed to really listen to the people that I had met here while I was in El Zonte, people like Max Kaiser, people like John Dennehy from Mi Primer Bitcoin. I had an opportunity to surround myself and be in the presence of really smart people who had been preaching Bitcoin for a really long time. So with the idea that Bukele made it legal tender, I decided that I needed to study. I needed to study Bitcoin. You know, I was here in paradise, not really doing much, enjoying the weather, enjoying the culture, enjoying the food, enjoying the safety. And so I decided that I would focus on studying Bitcoin. And the first thing I did was I studied the Mi Primer Bitcoin, My First Bitcoin book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did the 9-week course. And that's when I realized, okay, I need to take self-custody of the few sats that I actually had.
Yeah. Wow.
So I bought my first wallet and, you know, started learning about how to set up a node. And that's when I realized that there wasn't anywhere where I could just go and find all the answers that I needed. What kind of wallet do I pick? Which ones are the good ones? Which ones are the bad ones? Where can I grab them? Especially here in El Salvador, where Bitcoin is legal tender, I thought it should be easy for people to pick up a hardware wallet and start saving and self-custodying their Bitcoin. And that wasn't the case. I had never seen a store like this anywhere in Canada, in the US, never anywhere that I had traveled to. And when I was in Canada, actually, I was working at a retail store that Sherwin-Williams, actually, I'll give them a shout out, but they've been around for a very long time. And I learned a lot of good things from them in terms of how to run a business and how to focus on a customer service business. So I decided, you know what, this is what I did when I was in Canada. So I saw an opportunity to help people understand self-custody. Because going back to the working at Sherwin-Williams, painting and working in construction, not everybody can do it, but it's something that everybody at one point or another has to do, whether you're building your own house, whether you're building a shed, there's so many reasons why you would work in construction or build your own stuff. But people would come to us for expert advice. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I could do the same thing for Bitcoin. Everybody should learn about Bitcoin. Everybody should be self-custodying their Bitcoin. That's what I learned in the My First Bitcoin book. Everybody should have custody of their financial freedom, of their financial tools, but there's nowhere to go. So as I was learning, I said, okay, what if I open up a location where people can come, see the wallets, almost like an Apple store, see the phones, play around with them, decide which one's the right one for them, ask a trusted source for help on how to use it, ask any questions that you might have learning material, just somewhere where you can actually have that interaction with somebody. Yes, it's 2024, and you can learn everything you want from the internet. I'm an expert at that. I think most of the things I learned from Bitcoin were from listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos, kind of what we're doing here. Yeah. But there's just something about talking to somebody and being able to ask them those questions. Absolutely. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it because I don't know what else to do right now. I want to continue learning about Bitcoin myself. And the best way for me to continue learning is to push myself, to help other people. Help other people because that is going to put responsibility on me to make sure that I can answer the questions honestly. So that was the idea. My business partner, Jamie Robinson, who's also from Canada, he's been in Bitcoin for much longer than I have. And when he moved to El Salvador, kind of like you, we met at a meetup. We had some chats back and forth. He moved here. And I kind of told him, like, listen, I have this idea, but I'm not at that level where I feel comfortable doing this completely on my own yet. I know you've been in Bitcoin for quite a long time. How would you feel about you being my mentor, but at the same time, let's open this together and let's set El Salvador up for a successful future. Let's help Salvadorans self-custody their Bitcoin. Because as a Salvadoran, the government gave everybody $30 using Chivo, which is a custodial app. Great to get started, but once you grow your Bitcoin, once you grow your sats, once you start stacking sats, you really should take self-custody of it. So that's where the idea came from, and that's where the vision is. The vision really is to try and help as many people as possible take self-custody of their Bitcoin. Make sure that they feel comfortable, that they are getting the right products, that they're getting the right information from a trusted source. We at the hardware store want to be that trusted source. There's so many different places. I have lots of different mentors from the YouTube space, and we just want to be another one, but a physical presence that you can come into the hardware store at any time. Yeah. You can ask us basic questions, and if you want to try out the products, it's not just about watching a video on YouTube. You can come and actually, so I help people, I let them load up a seed, I let them create a seed here in the store, obviously not your own seed, but you can create a seed here in the store and you start really figuring out how it works. So that's the vision that we have, to try and onboard as many people as possible onto self-custody, which I think is the most basic, fundamental aspect of Bitcoin. Yep, so we have an authorized location in Berlin. So if you go to the Bitcoin Center in Berlin, you will see some of our products there. And then we also are going to be opening up another 1 or 2 authorized locations, hopefully before the end of the year. We're looking to have something in San Salvador and something in San Miguel, hopefully as well, with some of the friends we have out there. Yeah, the idea is that doesn't matter where you are, especially because Bitcoin is legal tender here in El Salvador, it's important that people learn how to self-custody. I was just telling somebody, you saw someone who was here before you came in, you know, when you start Bitcoin, everything is free. You download a few apps, you start learning about it, you know, study Bitcoin, use it, experience it. But then you start to realize that after you get to a certain amount, you really should start taking responsibility for it. You know, it depends on the person. What's a large amount is relative. But once you feel like, okay, this is a good amount of money here, then you should really start taking self-custody over it. And that's one of the things that Bitcoin allows you to do that most technologies don't, right? You are your own bank. You are responsible for your own financial wellness, and I think that's great. So that's all we're trying to do, especially for me, for the Salvadorans. I'm always thinking about my parents. I'm always thinking about my family members. You know, they're not the greatest English speakers. And so the idea here is that we speak English, hablamos español, we speak Spanish, just like yourself. And we want to make it accessible for everyone. Language shouldn't be a barrier, especially when it comes to computation and to financial wellness. Language shouldn't be a barrier. And so that's also one of our key missions, is to help people, whether it's in Spanish, whether it's in English, and hopefully, you know, who knows, maybe later on we move on to different languages as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your detailed answer, Ronny. And yesterday, someone actually, you mentioned the thing from what amount I should, using like a hardware wallet. And yesterday I had like a conversation with someone who was starting to learn about Bitcoin. And then this person made me also the same question. And she said, well, Chris, I'm right now starting. What do you think, from what amount beginning I should start to investing in a hardware wallet? And well, it was a very good question, a very interesting question. And well, I would say as Bitcoin is something so powerful and with so much value, I would personally say it's definitely worth beginning from $500 or euros, or even from starting from 1,000 euros or $1,000. I think it's definitely worth it to invest in a hardware wallet which costs, I don't know, between $80 or $150. But I think it's an investment which is very important. And so, yeah. Also, I find it very nice, that you opened this store here in El Zonte, because as you also said earlier, when you was answering my question, I think it's also important to have like this physical and personal contact if you are speaking about Bitcoin, because you said, of course, we can educate ourselves via YouTube, videos, podcasts, and so on. But I think this is also like a very important component, to have someone. If you know there is someone I can go to, I can speak to him personally, I think there will be much more people in the future who will search this kind of contact, and therefore I think it's very good that shops or persons like you exist, that deciding to open like a shop, and at the end of the day you are like a public contact person. The people can come over here, they can ask you, and they will get like they will get the best consultancy. So exactly. Okay, so then I would say we are going to the next question. Frage Nummer 3. Wie siehst du die Zukunft von El Salvador?
That's a great question. And it's one that, you know, I can't really tell the future. And same with Bitcoin. You know, it's as if you asked me what Bitcoin's going to be at tomorrow. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that El Salvador is a place that is very raw. There's a lot of opportunity here. The country, the people were very just to be frank, they were very scared, and it was very risky to make any type of investment into the country. And we all know that when it comes to your money, you want to be as least risky as possible, really. Everybody has a risk profile, but for the most part, people tend to not want to be risky. And so now that El Salvador is a safe place, there is a lot of potential here. Growing, it's upcoming. I mean, the people here are fantastic. The weather here is beautiful.
The people, yeah.
Yeah, the people here, the land here is great. There's so many good things about the country that people are finally starting to realize the potential that is here. So where do I see El Salvador? I mean, with the people that I see coming into the country, with the projects that I see happening, I do foresee a large change. I don't even think that I can imagine what El Salvador is going to look like in 10 years. I think I can throw it out there and I can maybe envision it. I'm going to be completely wrong, but the potential is there. And there's so many good projects. I don't know if you had the opportunity yet to go meet Aaron from Murphy's Life. Like, he's doing great things up there, and those are the type of people, Mi Primer Bitcoin with the education, the Bitcoin hardware store. You have so many different projects that are really trying to make a good impact here. And so it's those people that are going to create the new El Salvador that we're going to see. And so the more people that come with a vision, with a good heart, with a good vision, that's where El Salvador is going to go. Now, I can't tell you what it's going to look like, but I can tell you that the people that are coming here to El Salvador right now are top notch. Only the best of the best are coming here. I don't know how El Salvador, and I don't know how the president has managed to really call those people here, but he's done a great job. It's just kind of really incredible to see the minds that are coming here and coming to such a small country. And when you do that, I think the potential is really, it's hard to determine what that's going to look like. But I am bullish on El Salvador, extremely bullish on El Salvador. That's why I'm here. That's why I've made such a large investment into my time, into the money. That's why I'm 100% committed to this project, because, I mean, if it doesn't work out, I don't know what else to do. But I do see a lot of potential here in El Salvador, and it's not the country. It's the people. It's the people that are coming here. It's the work that the people want to put in, and Stacey Herbert says it best, and I've repeated this, and I will continue to repeat this in all of the interviews that I get done. But we really are building the El Salvador that we want to live in. This is what everybody here is doing. This is what everybody here is contributing to. And I think we all want what's best for us individually, but also for us as a community. We want to see El Salvador shine, because we all come from places that we know that there's things that we're not happy with. And here is a place where we can actually make a difference, a place that we can actually build from the ground up. So I'm bullish on El Salvador, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm excited to see what's happening over the next 10 years. Time goes by really quick. I've been here for 4 years now, but I'm excited. Yeah, I'm very excited and very bullish.
I think you're not the only one who is bullish. I'm also definitely bullish, and that's also the reason why I am not only planning, why I am, going to realize to come over here to start a new life, to start a new chapter. And for example, then by coincidence, today, for example, there is another YouTuber in Germany. He is called Mark from Bitcoin Hotel. So I don't know if you heard about him, but in Germany we have in the south of Germany, in a city which is called Stuttgart, we have I think it's the very first Bitcoin hotel in the world. And he is one of the owner, or I don't know if he is completely the only owner, or I think he is managing the hotel with his mom. But anyway, he also decided to come over here. So his first time, he was staying in the Cuatro Amigos in, I think, beginning of this year, March, April. And the last days he took the decision to come over here, and he made it public. He made a video on YouTube, and I think he will come at the end of October. So, and that's also what you mentioned, that great characters, people with so much potential are coming over here because they see here the people are something building. El Salvador is building practically this. And somebody told me, and this is also like a very interesting thing, and I will not forget this phrase. Someone told me, here the people in El Salvador, they have like hope for the day of tomorrow. And I can say people in Europe and also maybe in the US, they don't have hope for the next day, for tomorrow. And here there is hope for tomorrow and to have a better future. So yeah, I'm absolutely, yeah. Then I would say we'll come to the next question. Was hat sich nach Bukeles Wahl verändert?
So for me, this is it's a difficult question for me to answer because I moved here after Bukele came into power. After he won the election in, I think it was 2017 or 18, if I'm not mistaken. I have recollections of what El Salvador was like before, and I heard stories of what it was like before. When I was younger, I remember being told it was dangerous to go out into the streets, try to be home before dark, not to take the buses, that not to wear jewelry, not to wear nice clothes, not to wear shoes, although now I don't even wear shoes anymore. But it was a different story back then. And the reason I came to this country and the reason I moved back home was because of the differences that I saw between the people who were in power in Canada versus the people who were in power here. During the pandemic, during 2020, I had a lot of time just to kind of sit there and everything was closed and kind of think about what was happening. And being from El Salvador, I always had what Bukele was doing and his decisions, I was always looking at them and I would just agreed with what he did. I 100% agreed with the actions that he took during the pandemic. And that's what made me decide to move here. Now, when I first got here, the regimen was not in place yet. I think the regimen started in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So I was here for about a year before the state of exemption happened. And being in El Zonte, things were always good. El Zonte, El Tunco, they were always good areas, but there were other areas of the country that, you were not allowed to go into. Now, Bukele always had a good track record of cleaning up the places that he was in charge of, starting off with Nuevo Cuscatlan, then becoming the mayor of San Salvador. He cleaned up those places. From my understanding, again, I didn't have a lot of experience because I was a young kid, but my families here would tell me when Bukele became the mayor of San Salvador, he cleaned it up completely. It was just completely overdone, remodeled. It just looked completely different. It was revitalized.
Especially also in terms of or regarding the gangs, no?
Correct. So things changed a lot during his tenure here. And that's the reason that we're here today, is because people feel safe being able to come here. I don't even think twice about going out at night and walking around, being in San Salvador. Yeah. I don't think twice about it. I've traveled the world, and when you go to a new place, you always have to be very cognizant. Look over your shoulder, not be in the wrong places. But it almost seems like here, the majority of the country, you could be anywhere and not have to worry. And I think that is a great explanation of how El Salvador is. El Salvador was always this wonderful place with lots of wonderful people, and it really just was the small percentage of people that were creating terror, that were creating havoc. Less than 1% of the population really was controlling and terrorizing the community, because the population of El Salvador, the families, the children, the professionals, everybody's always been this way. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is that he got the criminals off of the streets, and now people feel comfortable being able to walk outside, being able to be out when it's dark at night and run their businesses. So he did a great job with that, and because of that, I was able to open up the store. Like, if you look at the store here, it's probably unlike any other store you've seen. If you go into any of the stores, they have like these big metal bars that they pull down. Yeah. So when I was opening up the store here, people were telling me, "Are you going to put any metal bars?" And I was like, you know what? No. Because if this place is like Bukele claims it to be, the safest place in the world, I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to test it. I'm going to put a big glass door, and if anybody breaks it, then I know it's because I'm in the wrong place. But it's been 6 months, 7 months, and nothing, you know? I still have my doors, nothing's happened. And so that is because of what he's done in the time that he's been in power. So, you know, kudos to him. Kudos to him because he's made his people feel much safer.
Yeah, this is also what locals told me. So I think for the very first time for the people, yeah, it's possible to go from one barrio or from one area to go to the other area because, well, the last years or back in the past, it was like that, or many people told me, many local people, that it happened when you actually left your own area. And then you got into another one where they don't know you, then maybe, you disappeared and you never came back. So, and I think regarding the security, everything starts with security for the people, for the locals. And, and I think on top of this, we can build further. And, and this brings me also, Ronny, to my last question. To close the interview. Woran muss El Salvador noch arbeiten, beziehungsweise was muss El Salvador zukünftig noch verbessern?
That's a good question. For them to improve, I definitely have to figure out what's going wrong. And I would just have to say, you know, focus more so on education. Focus on educating the people, on giving the people an actual opportunity. And I think Bitcoin does that. You know, if El Salvador really is going to continue on this path, I think Bitcoin plays a really, really, really large part. Because one of the things about Bitcoin is you have to take responsibility for yourself. It allows people, when you understand or you learn about Bitcoin and you're educated on what it is, you understand what the problem was and continues to be with the old system. And so for El Salvador to continue improving, what needs to improve is that education aspect of it. Do people understand what money is? Do people understand how money works? Do people understand why we're working? How to budget? You know, what is debt? These are very, very important things. And I think, you know, if you were here, I think you were when the president made an announcement that in 2025, they're going to create a budget without taking out any loans and that sort of stuff. I think it's important that we continue on this path, but I think it's important that we don't leave anybody behind. You know, there's so many hard workers here, so many people that are working and are kind of forgotten about. So I want to make sure that for El Salvador to succeed, and I think for any place to succeed, and this comes from my time when I was playing team sports and I was playing soccer or football in the rest of the world, you're only as strong as your weakest link, you know. And so we need to make sure that our weak links are extremely strong, that they're educated, because that's going to bring everybody up, right? So I think that's what El Salvador needs to focus on, really, is becoming independent. I think it needs to focus on educating its people, empowering their people, and making us feel comfortable with what's going on here, and including the regular folk. Because, you know, Salvadorans, unfortunately, because of the gangs and because of how people were feeling back then and how unsafe it was, you know, my family, for example, my parents didn't really go to school after a certain age. It was dangerous to go to school because of the war and all that stuff. So I think that's the opportunity that El Salvador has. And I'm seeing changes. You know, the Mi Primer Bitcoin diploma is being taught in the schools, but I think there needs to be more. I think there needs to be more. But I'm also on the side that it's really not up to the governments also either. You know, it's up to us as individuals to take responsibility for what we're doing, to take responsibility for our communities. And so whether the government they have a big opportunity and they are in power, and they are able to make changes, I just think that the best thing that they can do and the opportunity that exists is just to continue opening things up and having less restrictions and letting the people who really want to make a change come down here and make that change for the people. Have more education, more resources, focus on the important things, food, you know. Let's take care of everybody's basic needs. education, food, security, shelter. Let's do that, and then open it up for everybody. Continue with the security, and I think things are gonna happen. People are gonna shine, and the right people are gonna come here that want to help bring El Salvador to that next level. And so I don't have any specifics for you, but I think those are the three main things that El Salvador can continue to improve on, and we'll see a different El Salvador in 10, 15, 20 years than from what we see now.
Yeah, I think the same way, or I have the same thoughts, because as you said, at the end of the day, it depends on us, no, on the community to go further, to go the extra mile, and to help other people, to educate the community, other families, people, and so on. And yeah, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin doesn't need any type of or any government. And I think it will also depend on people like you, or organizations like Me Primera Bitcoin, or Murphy's Life, or Murph's Life. That's kind of organizations. I think they are very powerful in the way that, first of all, they are doing good things, but also then on the other side, I think they are also going to inspire other people. And this is also the fact why I'm going to come here, why I'm going to try to start a new life here, because I'm absolutely impressed by people like you, by organizations like My First Bitcoin, and I will come over here also to try to do my part, to try to be a part of this whole community, and to do my best, in order that this country and the people will have a better future. So yeah. Well, Ronny, I think we are finished, and thank you first of all for your time. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best for the future. I wish you also lots of success for your new stores. You may open very soon. Thank you for your work and for what you are doing. I think this is so important. Guys, if you want to follow Ronny on the X account and stay updated, and you have also Instagram, right?
Yeah, we have Instagram, we have Noster, we have X, and you can email us. We have our website where if you are coming to El Salvador, you will see the events for the week.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to reach out to us.
Perfect. Okay, so thank you so much, and all the best for you.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks.
Und ja, ich hoffe, euch hat das Interview gefallen. Ich hoffe, ihr konntet irgendetwas aus diesem Interview mit Ronny mitnehmen, und bis zum nächsten Mal. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Macht's gut. Ciao.